come up. Hey, everybody. So, we're just getting ready to talk with our amazing guest this week, Jaclyn Stapp. So much exciting stuff to talk about mental health, children's advocacy. We're playing some of our favorite Creed songs, getting us in the mood. Oh. Okay, we can come up now. Perfect. And welcome back to this week's edition of Style and Empowerment Chat with Laura and Friends Radio. We thank you for tuning in all around the world. We are so excited to welcome this week's guest, Jaclyn Stapp.
Hi, Laura.
So Jaclyn wears so many hats. She is a international beauty queen, children's book author, philanthropist, momager, all things rolled into one. So we're very excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So now, Jaclyn, you originally were raised in Jordan in the Middle East, and your family came to New York and Florida in your younger years. So now you have been competing in pageants since you were 13 years old.
I know. Can you believe it? Yes, my parents were actually born in Jordan, and I was born in New York, and they came here as immigrants, literally off the boat. They came to this country, had 5 kids, went to school, got college degrees, and living the American dream. Really just gave back to their community, church, taking care of children, very involved. And then us, and then we moved from New York to a small town in Florida.
Now, pageants and competition has been a big part of your professional life. So can you share with us just what got you interested in that and all the benefits and things that you love about it?
It's kind of an interesting story, and I'll try to give you a fast version of it. But when I was little, I looked like a boy. I was a complete tomboy, playing outside, playing in the trees, knobby knees, wild and crazy hair. People would say to my mom, "Oh, you're so cute," and it bothered me. I had this big head of like cabbage patch hair, so I was like the least girl you would think would be in a beauty pageant. My mom would say, we saw a sign. I was 13 years old. We saw a sign, Little Miss Sunburst. And I think my mom just kind of put me in it as a hobby, just to put me in a dress. And I actually loved it. I loved it. It was fun. I loved getting dressed up. And then from then on, I decided to get a little bit of training, and then I competed in Team Florida. And surprisingly, I did well. It's kind of fell into my lap. And then I trained a little bit more, kind of learned the ins and outs of pageantry. My mom was my coach, and then I competed in Miss Florida USA. And then made my way to Miss New York USA, and then ultimately I went to Miss USA and won. So wasn't really expected.
And then you also competed in Miss World as well, correct?
Yeah, my mom now with 4 kids, I kind of have that itch, and Mrs. World, that's for sure.
And now it must be very trippy being on that stage with all these amazing, gorgeous women from all around the world, but it's a competition too. So I often wonder in that realm where you kind of find the balance, because pageants is about empowering women and lifting each other up. But at the same point, you want to win. You want that scholarship money. You want those prizes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's the deal. If you've seen the movie Miss Congeniality, there's very much two parts of that movie in real life pageantry. I'm not going to say any names, but there's definitely in every pageant, there's the really intense, competitive girls. And then there's like girls who are just down to earth, don't take themselves too serious, have fun. Now, I have to say, I was really proud that I also won Miss Congeniality, which is voted on by the contestants themselves.
Right.
So, they get to see, judges only get to see one side of the girls, but when you're backstage with the contestants, it meant a lot to win that because your peers voted on it.
Yes. And I imagine the process really helps you come into your own and find your confidence and poise, and has a lot of benefits. You meet all kinds of different people, and you got to think on your toes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, competing in a pageant is no joke. I mean, you have to wear 7-inch heels in a bathing suit, walking on stage, holding your shoulders back, doing eye contact, knowing where your cues are, having the choreography yelling at you, go there, and then just the training side of it, the discipline of pageantry, it's a lot of work on the physical fitness, the mental side of it. You've got to be able to talk about current events and give an opinion and don't offend anyone.
Right.
And then talk about yourself without coming across too like me.
Not too much this, not enough that.
You want to be real. You want to be relatable and authentic.
Yes. So now, also, in addition to your pageant life, you are a children's book author. So you wrote about 10 years ago, you wrote your first book, Wacky Jackie. And then your second book, what was it? Yes. Yeah, so which I just love that title because, not all of us look like the stereotypical, beauty queen. And many of us, like you said, it's a journey to kind of find ourselves. And many of us deal with bullying or insecurities, uncertainties, stress in the household, stress at school.
Yeah, so this title of this book is very true to my life. It's a true story when I was a little girl. True story of an unlikely beauty queen. Growing up Middle Eastern, I would go to school with my homeless, and kids would have like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and I was spoken another language, and my hair looked very different than other kids. So I felt very different, and this book is about embracing being different. And what makes you different makes you unique. So if somebody doesn't look like the stereotypical queen or has different color hair, have our own uniqueness. And I just wanted that book to send a message to anyone that you're beautiful just the way you are.
And it's really important in the home, not only with parents, but siblings and friends, that we encourage the differences and cultivating your difference. Differences are what make you great.
Absolutely.
So now, in addition to being a very accomplished and empowering author, philanthropy is a big pulse of your life. So you founded the Charm Foundation, that Children Are Magical. So can you tell our listeners a bit about your journey creating your own charity, what inspired you to do so, and the work that your organization does?
Well, I'm so glad you asked this question because my charity, Children Magical Foundation, is my baby. It's what I'm passionate about. It's dedicated to my mom. And it's a foundation I started in college at university. It was just a few of us in college dormitory that had some ideas. And here we are 20 years later. The mission is to support women and children in need, specifically education. So we do one big event a year called Back to School Bash. And this year, I'm so proud to say, is our 5th annual year. And we give kids full backpacks with school supplies, free haircuts, dental exams, free food, free clothes. And basically, Laura, what's behind that is I grew up with very humble beginnings. I know what it's like to have the community support and help you. I lost my father at a very young age, and my mom, who was raising 5 kids by herself, working 3 jobs. We had the community to help us to be there with the church. So we want to give kids today pay it forward a chance to have an opportunity education in school. We want them to show up at school, new backpack, new haircut, and help the families out. Families that are in times of need right now, what's going on in the world. I feel like if a child has a chance at education, they have a chance. So that's kind of like what Charm is all about. We also help. We'll get a request to help a family or a mom that can't pay her bills. Why is going on in the world today? Inflation. We try to help out what we can. But that's what I'm very near and dear passionate about. And dedicated to my mom, who's my rock.
Aw. Now, if people want to donate, our listeners want to donate to your drive, where can they send their donations?
Yes. Thank you. If you visit childrenonmagical.org, on the homepage, there's ways to you can sponsor and buy backpacks. Right now, we have a medical relief team. My sister, Dr. Neshwa, who's in Ukraine. So right now, we send backpacks to kids in Ukraine. We have a doctor there, and we're raising money for medical supplies for the Ukrainian refugees and families.
Oh, that's fantastic, and so needed right now. And speaking of empowering children, what do you feel in the home are some of the best things we can be doing to empower our children and increase their self-esteem and dealing with what's going on today?
I think for me as a parent, I know every household is different. I'm a big believer in leading by action. Your kids need to watch you walk the walk. And being a present parent, so many parents can't always do that. They're working 2-3 jobs, and it's very hard. But you've got to get involved in your children's lives. You've got to show them, the tools for life, the best that you can. And just building their self-esteem, praising them, telling them good job. You don't always want to point out the child, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. I know Dr. Phil, but for my kids, the way I work with them is more love. Kids need love. They need to feel validated. They go to school and they learn so much. You want to make home, where's their peace, their safe, and their love.
And I think it's also important in the home to send positive messages about what happens to you in and outside of the home, dialoguing about your feelings, dialoguing about trauma, teaching our children how to deal with their emotions, positive coping skills, channeling the emotion, because, trauma, and we all have trauma in one way or another in this life. And if we don't actually talk about it and figure out how to work through that, the pain, the anger, the injustice of things that happen to you that are bigger than yourself, it doesn't go away. It just cycles in your system in a different way and comes out down the road. And I think too, there's a lot of stigma put on with expressing your emotions. That's another thing that I think is so important for us just to chip away at. With men, a lot with gender roles, to say, oh, you're weak, you're this, you're that, you're not macho, if you talk about your feelings. With women, when you do talk about your feelings, you're just brushed to the side like, oh, you're emotional, you're this, you're that, right? Which is just so messed up, and we don't heal and we don't get better and better to ourselves and each other unless we talk about our feelings and with the things that have happened to us. I personally feel that talking about your feelings and trying to heal from those things is the most biggest exhibit of strength
Oh,
that
you
there
are
is.
absolutely right. I couldn't agree with you more. And you're right, Laura. There's a little bit of a stigma and it's taboo to, most people think it's a sign of weakness to share your feelings. And it's actually not. It takes a lot of courage, especially for men. It takes a lot of courage to share how you're feeling, why you feel this way. And I think that's really important for kids to feel balanced and grounded and confident when they can get that in and not internalize their feelings.
And I think it's also on the flip side of that, you know, raising our kids, even just talking to friends and kind of reprogramming a lot of the messed up jargon that's out there,
Mhm.
is that when people do turn to you and say, look, I'm scared or I'm angry about this or this hurt my feelings, I don't know how to process it, I'm depressed, I have anxiety, I don't know, I'm afraid of the world, whatever, is that we are receptive and supportive and we're not mocking or judging or brushing it to the side. You also have to be mindful of raising people to embrace each other's feelings
Mm.
and the validation
Oh,
in the
yeah.
feelings.
Oh, without a doubt. There would be so much more healing in the world if more people apply what you said.
Yeah. Well, speaking, you shared about your father's passing. Actually, tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary of my father's passing, and today's today was like the last time I actually was able to cognitively say I love you. And as we navigate through grief and the different pains in our life, finding the way to dialogue about it is so important. So, what are some of the things that you would suggest to kids who are out there dealing with loss or stress, different things that they're going through, of how to process, communicate your feelings, and ask for help?
It's the last thing you just said. Number one is do not be afraid to ask for help. It's courage, it's strength, it's confidence, and that's the first step is reaching out. From people that I've spoken to, they carry a lot of fear and worry and anxiety of being afraid of reaching for help. Don't be afraid to tell a teacher, tell a family member. There's help out there, and a lot of people internalize and hold it in, and sometimes it's too late.
Yes.
And also, I think we as a society should be a little bit more vigilant. If you see a sign with someone, if you see a different pattern or isolating, really educate yourself of what someone could be going through, because we live in such a fast-paced world and everybody's going through their own things. We're judgmental. We may not pick up a sign that somebody's really hurting inside. So there's kind of two parts to this. Just don't be afraid to reach out for help. That's not a sign of weakness. And there's so many nonprofits and there's so many free resources out there to help people and just be vigilant. And I just think the simplest is being kind. If you see someone in an elevator, say, hey, good morning, how's your day? Or just simply saying thank you to someone. Those little things make
just a simple effort of showing you care about somebody's experience and their feelings can mean such a difference. And of course, when we're talking about depression and anxiety, I think important things are looking at what your triggers are and trying as much as you can to remove yourself from those triggers and having structure. Like my dad used to always say, you have to have structure for your day. You have to have routine. That's part, not that you're so driven in your routine that you're like, this is boring, but having a structure, like mental health is getting washed, saying something to your positive to yourself at the beginning of the day, having forgiveness and grace for yourself. Because there's so much pressure to feel like you're perfect, like you're always on go, and that's not real life. That's So we are celebrating Women's History Month in March. So can you tell us some of the women in your life who inspire you and just drive you to be your best amazing self?
Well, I think from the past, I would definitely say Queen Rania, the Queen of Jordan, and Princess Diana. And of course, Mother
She's
Teresa.
one of mine too.
Which one?
Princess Diana.
Right? I love her. She's just so inspirational to me. So she's always been someone I love from this past. But currently today, there's two powerful women in my life. Number one, my mom. She is amazing rock star. Okay. This woman came to this country as an immigrant, spoke a little English, raised 5 kids. And Laura did it on her own, worked 3 jobs. And every one of us, I think I'm the underachiever, is a lawyer, a doctor, a government official, highly successful, and just good, grounded people. You know, she's never remarried. She still wears my dad's wedding ring. So she's led by example. She's just a pillar of strength. To know her is to love her. If you're around her, she's witty, beautiful, fun. So that's number one. Number two, my older sister, Dr. Julia Nashwat. She was a captain in the Army. She won a bronze medal. Has a law degree. She served on the front line in a lot of wars. And she's just my mentor. Works really hard. She just had a baby.
Aww. And what message would you give to the women and young girls out there about following their dreams and not being afraid to be driven and go after the things they want in life?
Believe in yourself. Do not give up. I know this sounds cliche. But when you're in a room with a bunch of men, I work in a Wall Street financial firm, a board of directors. I'm the first team on 80 years. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to ask for that raise. Set goals for yourself and don't stop until you achieve those goals.
Now, you are a woman who wears many hats, of course, one of which is a mom. And so when you are an entrepreneur and a go-getter, it's a lot of juggling. And of course, you also have your husband, Scott, who is a Grammy Award-winning singer, and it's a lot going on. So what are some of your tips to other women out there who are juggling lots of things to make it work and keep your peace of mind within that?
Well, first of all, we all mess up. We all fall down. You get back up. We all have our days where we're wiping our tears and our mascara dripping on our face because it feels a little overwhelming. Caroline and the mail, running around. We get overwhelmed as women. It's okay to not be okay and don't be hard on yourself. I've been there, and be gentle on yourself. We have a lot going on. Time management works for me. Prioritize your time and just self-care. If I can't take care of myself, I can't take care of my kids. But it's okay to not be okay. We are perfectly imperfect. There's no such thing as perfect in my book. I think people who have failures and flaws are authentic and real and are the strong people to me.
Yes, and sometimes you just gotta breathe and take a woosah and say, "Look, let's take a moment, and it'll be okay."
I teach yoga. I just started getting yoga, so I teach a lot of getting into that Zen headspace and just having a calm place.
Now, you also are a director with the foundation with Arms Wide Open Foundation, which was founded by Scott Stapp. So can you tell us a little bit about the work of that organization, which is a little bit different than the Charm Foundation?
Yeah, so Scott has had his charity, really impressive. He's had it for over 20 years. He's raised $1 million on his own, and he does a lot of things very privately, very behind the scenes. He's been helping children and families his Grammy song came out in 1998, but he focuses on veterans, mental health, addiction. He's very passionate about our military. He's performed in the USS Ronald Reagan. He's always visiting our troops and sharing his personal story. But he has such a big heart for kids too.
Well, I just applaud the work that you're doing. It's so important. And it's also, can be healing and motivational where you see people who, you look at on the outside, oh my God, they have everything and wow, but they have problems just like I have problems. They have struggles just like I do. We're all working through something in life.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, media can always portray one thing and sometimes can distort things. We all know that. But I think all families, all marriages, everyone kind of goes through their own challenge. It's your own personal journey, your own personal walk. And one thing we teach our kids is to hold their head up high. When you fall, you get back up. If you go through something challenging, you work on yourself. And you teach them unconditional love.
And part of that is loving yourself and self-value and that you are enough.
Yeah, sometimes that's hard for people, just that right there to know you're enough and to love yourself.
And that you don't have to be perfect. Like what is perfect? I've never seen it.
I don't think it is. Perfect scares me.
Right. But the bumps, the challenges, the things that happen, they all hopefully they give you understanding, empathy for others, and learning.
I think it makes other people not feel so alone when you share your challenges, your falls, whether it's with your children, your spouse, your friend, your mother, your father. I think more and more people need to talk about themselves of the challenges in life and how they overcame it. Literally save someone else's life.
So true, because you stuff things inside, you feel that people aren't going to understand and judge, and sometimes these pains and traumas and things going on in our inside of us can just eat us up. So today's the message is the day is don't stuff, let it out.
And love yourself.
Yes, and not being okay is okay.
For sure. Yeah, especially as a mom. What moms have it all together?
I don't know any. So, Jaclyn, if you're in, have so many things and you're involved in so many places. So, if our listeners want to follow your organizations and get involved, can you give us a rundown of just all the places they can go?
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, we're on social media. I'm Jaclyn Stapp on Instagram. Children are magical on Instagram. I read my messages. I respond to people. I love to hear stories. I had a lot of wonderful moms share with me what they've gone through or something we can identify with. Like my dress. So I respond to people. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. But if you want to go to my website, right now, especially the Ukrainian refugees, childrenaremagical.org.
It is so important. And again, I applaud you just for all the things that you're doing to help children and to help our children thrive. It's so important. And, the more of us that actually stand up in what's going on in this world and say, look, I'm not happy with this. Let's make a difference. That's where real change happens.
Absolutely. And if you're a parent, it's just hard to watch the TV and see what's going on in another country. for anyone, parent or not, but for me, just when my kids go to their bed at night and sleep on their comfy pillow, there's other kids, dying and looking for a safe place and losing their parents. So it's just hard to watch that and turn the other way. You can't just watch it. We gotta do something.
Exactly. Well, it has been wonderful speaking with you today, and making a new friend. And I support all the things that. Yes, for sure. Yeah, we got lots of things to talk about. I know you have another event today, and I just want to thank you for your positive messages, all the things that you're doing, and Scott as well. The children need our help, and I just applaud you for all the great things that you're doing.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for sharing your heart.